Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, saluting Earth Day on April 22nd with an ongoing commitment to help offset carbon emissions with sustainable harvesting of Missouri forests. Details at choosewood.com.
It's Monday, August 22nd. This is The Gateway. I'm Wayne Pratt. The price of farmland has shot up sharply over the last year. Land is a finite resource that farmers and even investors are willing to pay for.
We'll find out in a decade whether I was too high or too soon.
But rising farmland values can present a big challenge, especially for young farmers trying to get started. We'll have that story in just a few minutes. It's back to school day in much of St. Louis and the first day for a new county charter school. Missouri law only allowed charters in St. Louis City and Kansas City for years. St. Louis Public Radio's Kate Grumke reports.
High five, I got it. Love it. Welcome to the Leadership School.
That's Denitria Neal, welcoming students and their families to an orientation for the Leadership School. It's located in the Normandy Schools Collaborative, and the state is allowing it because that district is not fully accredited. Marisha Ross's son, Damari, is one of the first 125 students in the school.
Well, we live in the Normandy School District, and he went to Normandy the last 2 years. And we just didn't have the best experience from virtual school to transitioning back to regular school. Everything was just really unorganized, and nobody knew up from down.
Some local political leaders have opposed the opening of the school, saying it will hurt the local school district. I'm Kate Grumke, St. Louis Public Radio.
Some Illinois families may need to reapply for free and reduced cost meals heading into the new school year. Children were eligible for meals without applying during the pandemic, but that federal program has ended. Tim Murphy administers federal school nutrition programs as a principal consultant with the Illinois State Board of Education.
There's countless studies that connect proper nutrition with academic performance. And these free and reduced price lunch and breakfast programs ensure all students have adequate and a healthy diet to support their learning.
Murphy says high poverty schools and districts will continue to provide free meals without families needing to reapply. He advises families to reach out to their school to find out if they need to reapply. Thousands of people in the St. Louis region are eligible for money from a $1.3 million class action settlement between Arch City Defenders and Normandy. The organization filed suit against the city on behalf of people ticketed or jailed in Normandy between September 2013 and May 2021. St. Louis Public Radio's Andrea Henderson reports.
A few years ago, Umi Okoli of Florissant was driving through Normandy when a police officer pulled her over and told her she ran a stop sign. She later spent time in jail because she had warrants for tickets in a number of St. Louis County municipalities. She is among over 22,000 people who qualify for money from the settlement. The suit claimed that the county judge didn't inform plaintiffs of their right to an attorney or ask about their ability to pay fees. Okoli hopes it holds Normandy police officers and its court system accountable.
I want practices to change. I want municipalities to find a different way to get tax money for their police officers.
To file a claim, visit normandyclassaction.com. The deadline is August 26th. I'm Andrea Henderson, St. Louis Public Radio.
Supporters of a man who was sentenced to death in 2001 for the murder of former St. Louis Post-Dispatch reporter Felicia Gale say they hope to see a resolution in the case soon. Then Governor Eric Greitens halted the execution of Marcellus Williams 5 years ago today after new evidence raised questions about Williams's guilt. A board was appointed to review the case. It has provided oral recommendations to current Governor Mike Parson, but he has not taken action. Missourians for Alternatives to the Death Penalty Outreach Director Michelle Smith hopes the administration knows wrongful convictions are real.
And when a error or a mistake or what these things come to light, that is also part of their job within justice to make sure that there aren't, innocent people sitting in prison.
A spokeswoman for Parson refused to provide an update, citing confidentiality. More Missouri residents are applying for medical marijuana cards. The third annual report from the Missouri Medical Marijuana Regulatory Program shows the state received more than 193,000 applications last year, up nearly 90% from 2020. The Springfield News Leader says the report also shows cumulative retail sales totaled more than $190 million. Nearly $13 million was moved to the Missouri Veterans Health and Care Fund, along with the Missouri Veterans Commission. The legislature approves a money transfer from the program every year to help veterans in the state. Farmland in the Midwest is going for record prices. That is making it more difficult for young farmers to grow their business on land they can call their own. As Harvest Public Media's Katie Pikus reports, it's especially true as investor demand grows.
Here we go. We have an online bid.
On a recent July morning, farmers and landowners gather at a farmland auction in Jessup, Iowa. Up for grabs, a farm that has been in a family since the 1800s. It's very fertile land, great for corn and soybean yields.
18,800 out of them in the 8, where them in the 18,008, now 9, 18,9.
Bidding takes about 15 minutes. One section of the property goes to a local farmer for more than $19,000 an acre. The other two go to an investor from outside the area for nearly $18,000 an acre. 2 years ago, high-quality farmland in Iowa sold for an average of $9,500 per acre.
I was astounded.
Ben Rienchi is a Jessup farmer who came to see the prices. He didn't bid today, but recently he bought 40 acres at another auction for $15,000 an acre.
It was way more than I ever hoped to pay, but we'll find out in a decade whether I was too high or too soon.
Farmland prices have been rocketing up across the Midwest for the last year and a half. The market has been setting new price records in recent months. Some farms in northwest Iowa have sold for $25,000 an acre. Why so much? Economists say things like good crop prices, a global food shortage, low interest rates, inflation, and record high government payments, largely from the coronavirus pandemic. Randy Dickhoot is the vice president of real estate operations with Farmers National Company. The company manages farms and conducts real estate sales and farmland auctions, including the one in Jessup.
Last year, farmers had better yields than they thought, higher commodity prices, so they'd had some good income. They hadn't maybe bought anything for a while, and so when it came on the market, they were pretty aggressive buying it.
But the high farmland prices make it much harder for young farmers to get started and grow their businesses. Like Reed Thompson, he's been farming in central Illinois for almost 10 years. He says beginning farmers get loans to help them, but they have less cash and less equity than those who have been farming longer.
The less cash you have, the more debt you're going to have to incur. Same with less equity, the more debt you're going to have to incur. And so it's just going to limit when you can purchase and how much you can afford to pay.
Thompson farms largely on leased farmland, though he owns a small portion of his acres. He bought his first farm 7 years ago at about $10,000 an acre. He wants to grow, but says with high land prices and rising interest rates, he's focused more on short-term investments, like bulk fertilizer or fuel. And it's not just the high prices that make it tough to buy land. There's also a lot of competition from investors. People like Bill Gates, America's biggest private owner of farmland. Investors are showing strong demand for farmland, which is being marketed as a stable investment.
Investments in agriculture provide a hedge against inflation with little to no correlation to the overall stock market.
Iowa State University economist Wendong John says farmland is one of many ways people are investing.
They're mainly looking at farmland provides a viable alternative to diversify their whole portfolio.
John leads Iowa State University's annual Farmland Values Survey. The latest one from November found the bulk of land up for sale is bought by local farmers. But there's more momentum from investors than years past.
During uncertain times, when their stock's value could go down by 30%, their farmland could hold on to the value.
It's unclear whether farmland prices will continue to rise or stabilize. But the Federal Reserve recently raised interest rates again, which some experts say could dampen the market slightly. I'm Katie Pikus, Harvest Public Media.
This story was produced in partnership with Harvest Public Media. It covers agriculture in the Midwest. The Gateway is a production of St. Louis Public Radio, a listener-supported service of the University of Missouri-St. Louis. Music by Ryan McNeely of Adult Fur. I'm Wayne Pratt. Have a great day.
Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, saluting Earth Day on April 22nd with an ongoing commitment to help offset carbon emissions with sustainable harvesting of Missouri forests. Details at choosewood.com.